Our opinions aren't too tough, rough, or gruff. We are proof that you don't have to be an expert to have an opinion. So just
Shut up and sit down.
This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. This is Sports Stuff, betting stuff.
Ka-chow.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Or was that the Super Wild Card?
No, it's a Super Bowl. You can do it.
I can do it whenever I want.
Yep.
Thanks.
Is there any additional information, or are you just going to say Super Bowl?
That's
Super
it.
Bowl.
Super Bowl betting show, Super Bowl.
I think we just say Super Bowl a lot.
Okay, I can get on board with that.
Super Bowl.
Can you say it's the number one? Can you do your tagline, please?
Yeah, that's true.
Welcome to the number one sports betting show coming out of the Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise.
Yes, sir.
I'm your original degenerate host, Muff. Joining me, as always, is the Ohio Homer, now the Bengals fan, or at least
You
for
call
the
me the
next
Bengals
for the next
bandwagon.
week. There we go, Bengals bandwagoner Jim,
It's got good alliteration.
and the real medical degenerate, Alex.
That's me.
Good. So we took a week off last week,
I missed you guys.
even
Missed
though we
you.
saw each other on Sunday.
Still, just didn't feel right.
Not the same.
It wasn't, but we did have in conference championship weekend. We did have some bets out there, which we have not recapped yet for the listeners. So let's do that real quick before we get into what are we talking about today, Jim?
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Do the interns want to chime in? Mac?
Super Bowl. This is Mac. It looks like the weather's still going to be real nice down there, y'all.
Bernard?
I'm still making the social media.
I was waiting for the interns to say Super Bowl.
Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Mac said it.
Super Bowl.
Bernard's in. All right. So 2 weeks ago's best bets from conference championship weekend in the NFL. I went 3-0.
That's your second week out of so many that you went undefeated. I'm proud of you.
Apparently, I reach my my best in the playoffs. So I'm like a Super Bowl contending team. I perform my best.
You're almost up to 500.
Almost. So my wins were Bengals +7 versus the Chiefs, Rams -3.5 versus the Niners, and Niners under 46.5.
So are you gonna prop this up? You're gonna do some props to get to 500?
Probably not.
You literally only need one if you pick a line. Or do you should pick the over under?
I mean, you could pick the coin toss, but you won't let those count. So
I won't let them count as best bets now.
risk it for the biscuit, buddy.
Yeah,
Best
maybe
bets
maybe
are
I'll toss in an over under somewhere with the game. We'll see. Alex, how'd you do?
I went 2-2. If I'd have stayed away from the over unders or picked the unders, I'd have done great. But I hit both my spreads, Bengals +7 and the Rams -3.5. And I lost because I picked both overs and neither over hit.
I tailed Alex. I agreed with Alex and I tailed Alex. I did the same thing.
Sorry, friend.
It's okay. I thought it was a smart call. So then we had the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week.
Pow, pow, pow.
It was a winner. It almost is at 900 or 500. 900.
I was like, wow,
It's not a
that'd be great.
gajillion.
You would think it's a hit stick pick, it would be 900, but we're
Right.
working on it.
Yeah, it's 9 and 10. It's a almost 500 situation. And in the Urban Meyer risky pick of the week, we get a win.
Yay.
Bengals money line versus the Chiefs is the winner. The Urban Meyer risky pick of the week goes to 4-14.
You know, and since this is we're probably retiring that. Yeah, an okay run.
Yeah.
It had a run.
Yeah,
I mean, for a risky pick, I'll take 4 wins.
yeah.
I mean, the 14 losses is a little much, but
It was excessive.
Yeah.
It was excessive.
So overall total win losses for the year, I'm at 61 and 63, as alluded to, 2 games under 500, a 492 winning percentage. Alex is 60 and 65 at a 480 winning percentage, and Jim is at 66 and 75 at a 468 winning percentage. Jim continues to have the most wins and most losses.
I win a lot, I lose a lot.
Jim
Story of my life.
throws all the darts at the board and hopes.
Yep.
That's it. Obviously, the only game we're looking at is what, Jim? This week?
Bengals and the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. The Super Bowl this week, the line is Rams -4. Over under is
It is, I have it right here. It is 48 and a half.
48.5 points. So we've talked about this. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times now. I locked in when the line opened the Sunday of Conference Championship weekend. I locked in Rams -3.5. It has been a best bet from that day. Still is my best bet to this time, and will be my best bet for that game. I will consider an over-under as the discussions continue, but I am locked in at Rams -3.5.
All right, that's fair.
Again, I just think the pace of play and Joe Burrow being knocked on his tush is going to allow the Rams to win by 7+.
Well, some stats that I want everybody to know going into this game. Against the spread, LA is 10 and 10. Cincinnati is 13 and 7. As far as over unders, LA is 10 and 9 and 1. Cincinnati is 8, 11 and 1. If that affects any of your decision making.
It affects 0 of my decision making, because normally I am on board, except for in the playoffs, and looking at stats and looking at those trends, because let's not forget the Oakland A's use the Moneyball technique to get to the playoffs, but in the playoffs, it's all about matchups and winning the individual battles.
I'm just throwing it out there, buddy. Throwing it out there. Now, the models have it. LA 24, Cincinnati 23. In the models and the projections, the simulations, a lot closer in that simulation than I think most people would have it. So take that for what you will. What do you guys think of that?
I feel no different.
All right. Well, if you're going to do this, if you're not even going to entertain conversation, why are we on here, Muff? What are you doing?
How much do you buy into the simulation things? I've looked
Not
at
very.
simulators for different games
Not very much.
because you don't know.
No.
A star player could fall and twist their ankle or something in the simulation kind of shit. There's too many variables. Go Bengals.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bengals with the points. Which, I mean, if you look at our record, Alex, you and I,
We should probably do this.
we're probably not on the winning end of this one. I'm going to be the bandwagon and say that's why I'm doing it. It's because I'm a homer on this one.
Yeah, I don't think the Rams -3.5 for Muff is a great pick.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'm not going to watch that game and root for the Rams. So
No, I will not.
So I'm going to take the Bengals.
Yes.
I will root for the Rams.
Jerk.
Well, yeah, you got money, so forget you.
Yeah. Jim and I are leading with our hearts.
That's exactly right.
This
Hopefully our
is-
wallets follow.
This is the story of the year.
Yeah.
This is what does happen. That is the story of the year. I
Yeah, true.
have not led with my heart as much. Like I say, I haven't been there at times. I am also adding an under bet.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
See if I can get myself to 500, under 48.5. I'm going to lock that in. I just don't see the Bengals putting up enough points to get this game over.
But the weather's good. The weather's great.
The Bengals don't know what to do when the weather's good. The only reason they had
Air it out.
the only reason they had an indoor practice facility last week was because the University of Cincinnati allowed them to practice indoors. They have an outdoor practice facility that's under a highway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with the boy from Athens though. Let's go.
He's from Athens. He's not he's not from SoCal.
Yeah, well, let's go. Do we want to break this game down at all? We want to dive right into the props. The whole reason people like watch the Super Bowl.
Is that the only reason they watch?
I
And
think
the
I think the game will break itself down as we go through these props.
That's true. We have broke it. We did in Tuesday's episode break down position by position. So
Okay.
people can always refer back to that
All right.
in our thoughts. So
Because this will kind of take us from the start. I like the chronological order in the notes, Jim.
Okay. Well,
Proud of you.
Jim has done some extensive diving into the props. So
Yes, kudos to Jim.
thank you.
good on Jim for taking the time to do that.
The first one, the national anthem, being sung by somebody.
Jalen
knows?
Guyton.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
Football player.
It's something Guyton.
Is it like Mickey Guyton or something like that?
Yeah, sure. Most bookmakers have it
culture.
have the over under at 1:35. Guyton's already put in a couple national anthem performances on tape in the last few years that clock well below 1:35. 1:35 would be the second lowest performance since 2007. A lot of people think maybe she will stop and smell the roses, maybe go a little longer. What say you? We taking the over? We taking the under? What do we think?
Mickey Guyton. She does say, okay, I just looked her up because I want to make sure that I had her name right. Mickey Guyton, giving her credit. And this article from the LA Times says that, quote unquote, the national anthem is my song. When it's something,
shouldn't it be like? How do you say it's not my
exactly.
song?
Well, when you say that something is your song, I plan to hear some embellishments. So I'm going to go with the over.
Muff, what do you think?
I agree with Alex. I think the embellishments will be abound. You'll have,
Here, it's really going to
rockets.
show people what I can do.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of extending of notes, a lot of allowing the stadium to absorb the noise,
Right.
and I think there will be some dramatic pauses.
Do we do is there a flyover?
Flyover happens at the end, so
Is it a closed stadium? Isn't it like half closed?
so
But even if they have the thing open, you could see the planes go by.
it's
So
all for TV anyway.
So we got to assume there's going to be a flyover, so that's going to extend the national anthem.
No,
Okay.
flyers don't extend the national anthem.
Oh yes, it does. You hold that note longer while that plane goes over.
They have listen, the Air Force, Top Gun, Tom Cruise, Top Gun, whatever number he's on, Top Gun 2. It's all based on timing, which they already have down. So it could just as easily they come too early. It doesn't have to be longer.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that she's going to elongate that note for dramatic effect because the crowd's going to roar when they see those jets.
Yeah, so you're not going to keep going. You're not just going to sing through the roar.
If she's the shortest singer and one of the shortest singers in a while, she's going to feel that moment when them jets come over and she's going to extend that note.
This says they interviewed her in the LA Times and it says, are you doing anything special to prepare for this performance? And she says, I've been working with the creative director. I feel like I don't have to read the rest of the answer, but if you're working with creative director, there's blank going on to this.
Yeah. So I think the show, as a whole, we're saying the over. I'm with you on this. Next up is the coin toss, which Muff refuses to allow in my best bets.
I agree, because it has nothing to do with football.
So Muff's not gonna let me do that, but a little history. 26 times it's been heads, 29 times it's been tails. Longest streak was heads with 5. Um, tails was 4 times in a row. Kansas City called heads last year and they won the toss. Out of 55 Super Bowls played thus far, just 25 teams have won the coin toss and the game. Just a little tidbit there, a little tidbit. The last team to win the coin toss and the trophy was the Seattle Seahawks in 2013.
Wow.
Who's Cincinnati's home? Yeah,
I don't know. That's what I was trying to find. I have no
yes.
nothing on
Cincinnati is the home team because there was the question of which locker room is LA.
Oh yeah, yeah, we talked
that
about
one. Okay.
that.
Okay.
So that means LA gets to call.
Are you? What do you call Jim?
My bet that I bet with Muff, Knack, wink, wink. I bet tails. I'm putting in tails for my bet.
Muffneck is here.
Oh,
Super
hello,
Bowl.
Muffnack. I knew you'd show up.
Super Bowl.
Muffnack, what are you picking? Heads or tail?
Muffneck does not agree that this is something we should be betting on.
Oh my, Muffnack. Gun to your head, Muffnack. What do you pick?
No guns ever to my head.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Some other prop bets. First offensive play of the game. The Rams prefer to rush on the first play. Have done so 11 of 17 games. Bengals pass 70% of the time. So really, it's a toss-up. Whoever wins the coin toss. Scoreless.
This is again the anti-Moneyball situation here.
Mhm.
Is if you know your tendencies are to do X,
Mhm.
you're more likely to do Y in the Super Bowl.
I feel like the Bengals are gonna throw the ball if they win the toss.
They're gonna drop a bomb to Jamar Chase.
Yeah, they're gonna come out rip snorting.
And as Joe Burrow drops back, Aaron Donald
Yes.
out of nowhere and just smoke him. That's how the game's gonna start.
Will any quarter be scoreless? This has happened in 4 of the last 7 Super Bowls, including last year, and Sean McVay's first trip when LA was there. McVay is pretty conservative. LA is boasting a strong defense. I feel like a scoreless quarter could happen here.
I was gonna say no until you brought up LA's defense.
Mhm.
And thinking about when you're in the Super Bowl, you're trying to make every play count. You're not like just
You're not winging it.
but that makes me think too, how many times are they gonna settle for a field goal when maybe you see a team go for it? I don't know. It's going to depend on the flow of the game. This is why I say you can't do a simulator because you don't know.
If to me, and I don't know that I didn't anticipate that this is something you looked up. I'm curious which quarter has been scoreless.
I did not dive that deep.
I wouldn't expect you to have done that. Because to me, it's more likely that the first quarter or the third quarter is scoreless based on game flow. So if you've got 2 teams that are just kind of playing the field position game, that's most likely going to happen whenever you're starting from scratch. So kickoff, you're about the 20, 25. And,
yeah, I agree.
And you just keep punting back and forth until somebody, gets a big play, gets a turnover or something like that. And that's when things usually open up, is after that initial score. So that's, I don't know. I would venture to say that if I had to go in there, I'd go with it. There's going to be a scoreless quarter.
Yeah, I agree. Will there be a score in the first 5.5 minutes? So there hasn't been a score in the first 5 minutes of a Super Bowl since the 2015 season when the Denver Broncos kicked a field goal in 4 minutes and 17 seconds into the game. 9 of the past 12 Super Bowls have been scoreless in the first 5.5 minutes. Interesting tidbit. I say bet on that. that there will not be a score in the first half, in the first 5.5 minutes.
My biggest hesitation to the first 5.5 minutes is, in this case, when you have, I think overall you have two strong field goal kickers, especially a field goal kicker that's kicking in his home stadium, is that once you get to about the 36, 37 yard line, it might be, especially for the Bengals, it's going to be send out the kicker, where you may not be as willing within that first 5.5 minutes of the first quarter. If you weren't super confident in your kicker, you may punt and play the field position game.
Sure.
But I feel like in this game, that's my fear. Not necessarily a touchdown. It's, does a team go for a longer field goal?
Sure. All right. First score of the game will be ...
Ooh.
10 of the past 14 Super Bowls have been a field goal or safety as the first scoring play, including each of the past 4. Sean McVay has shown a propensity to be conservative in fourth down situations, and it is a good bet to take that if points are given while LA is in the red zone, it will probably be a field goal.
I would say field goal. Playing field goals. Good pick. Did we intentionally skip the one ahead of it?
Yeah, I intentionally skipped that one.
Field goal is a safe pick, and yeah, I've got to think is that the, as far as the odds on that, Jim? Did you see any odds on that?
I didn't see the odds.
I've got to imagine the
think-
field goal probably has worse money odds.
Probably.
I would say that for almost any game. Usually,
Yeah.
I'd take field goal.
This is one I like. The first team to score a time, or first team to call a timeout will be Sean McVay is notorious for burning timeouts early in the game, and a mid-season study done by the NFL operation team showed the LA coach had more unnecessary timeouts per game than anyone else in the league. Zach Taylor for the Bengals ranked 7th in this stat.
I was gonna say that I feel like there are several games I recall watching of the Rams when I was like, they only have one timeout left now, and there's still 8 minutes left to play in the game. Like, I feel like that was a regular thought that I can think of more than once. Did they do that recently? I feel like in their last
Yeah.
game.
It was definitely either the divisional round or
Yeah.
the conference championship, where
I can't remember what
it was against the Niners, because it was I think it was in the second half, because that was a discussion in the second half was, what are they going to do with like one timeout left? And
Yeah, it was like one timeout left, like early in the half.
Mhm.
So I would say I'd agree. Rams. At first I was thinking Bengals, because I was picturing in my head like Joe Burrow getting sacked like twice in a row, trying to like hurry up, get back to line, messing it up, calling timeout. But with this stat, it makes you hard to take anything but the Rams.
My Muff won't let me use this as a best bet. Kind of upset about it.
There was a
So-
long discussion for the listeners of behind the curtain discussion of what could count as Jim's best bets and what could not count as Jim's best bets.
I'm real
Muff was
angry
the
about
best
it.
bet czar and has made some decrees that Jim is learning to live with.
Yeah.
The stance I've been mostly consistent with is, if it is a normal betting option during a typical NFL game.
Yeah. So then we get into player stuff. I can bore the listeners with the player stuff. Some things that-
Because those are the football things, right? We don't need to
Yeah.
bore them with the actual
we
football
don't need to
game.
bore you with the actual football game. Some things I do want to highlight. Joe Burrow passing touchdowns over under 1.5, I think is ridiculous. I would probably take the over. I think he'll score 2 touchdowns. I mean, I hope.
Yeah, I would say,
Those are pass touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Passing yards though, they over under is 276.5 passing yards for Joe Burrow. I would probably take the under. Don't know about you guys.
all right. So interesting side. I looked up some of these FanDuel Super Bowl specials. So not necessarily prop bets, but specials that they do throughout the season for primetime games and such. If you do some deep digging, one of them was Burrow and Stafford to combine for 600 yards plus 150
No way.
odds. If it wasn't the Super Bowl, or if they were any other court, like both of them have the potential to have big
Right.
yard games, but in the Super Bowl with two good defenses, I go under. I don't take that. Well, it's not an over/under option. Just you think it or you don't.
Mhm.
I don't. The other Burrow Stafford one was either Joe Burrow or Matt Stafford to throw a 50-yard pass with plus 200 odds.
Oof.
Just one, either or, one time, a 50-yard pass.
Wow. Speaking of Matt Stafford, simulations have Stafford likely going over 1.5 touchdowns. The over/under is 2.5. He has been held under 2 touchdowns just 4 times all year.
I don't think Eli Apple's the corner to
No,
challenge that situation.
no.
In fact, I think that, yeah, I gotta say over. So we're going through these, right? You're under on the yards, over on the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Where are you at on Joe Mixon's stats then?
First, let me say that the passing yards for Matt Stafford is over under 281, just so I can be fair and not a homer.
If you look at their 600, add up 281, 276, I feel like that's a good enough evidence not to take it.
Yeah. As far as the Joe Mixon rushing yards, the over under on his rushing yards
63 and a half.
63 and a half.
So where do you think that is?
I think he'll be over.
Okay.
And then his longest rush of 13 and a half, I am taking, and I've been allowed to by the czar Muff, is 13 and a half. I'm taking the over on that for his longest run.
Okay. So this is what I'm trying to add up here.
Okay.
Is you think the Bengals are going to cover?
I said plus the points.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Burrow's going to have over on the touchdowns, under on the yards. I was just trying to figure out how they were moving the ball.
I don't think that it's going to be. I think they're going to run.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to bet Joe Burrow on the yards, but I can hope. Remember, some of this is heart, Muff. Some of this is my heart.
I'm just trying to add up how the Bengals score points. If we're feeling that Matthew Stafford is trending over the 2.5.
Uh-huh.
If we're Joe Burrow, how many touchdown passes is he going to have, and how many yards is he going to have?
I mean, my hope, Muff, is that Burrow and Chase just go off, and Chase actually shines out against that corner that he's got to face. What's his name?
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I hope that Chase shows out against Ramsey. That's my hope, and that all this is wrong. My money's not there, but my heart is there.
We're betting with our heart, remember, Muff?
I just want to put it into perspective of your game bet versus how the individual stats will allow this to happen.
Well, like I said, when you go to my prop bets, when we sum those up here at the end, I'm not dumb. Like, I took some of the easy gimme ones. You want me to go in the receiving yards?
Tails is a gimme.
Well, I've only bet $1, Muff. Okay. So anyway.
And you wanted that to count as a best bet.
Yeah, I think it should. I had a 50,
it's like a
25%
25% of a best bet, maybe.
That's fine. It should still count.
Okay.
Anyway, you want me to go into receiving yards?
Sure.
I just think Jamar Chase at 78.5 sticks out for his over/under. Cooper Kupp at 104.5 over/under. Wow. What do you pick there?
Over.
Over.
All day.
Then put it down, Muff.
All day.
You're so confident. Hammer it home.
I mean, you're so confident the Bengals are going to win. Hammer that home money line.
I did.
You didn't. You said I need the
With
points.
The points. Yeah.
So I don't have an option. I could bet an alternate line of like Kupp over 80 yards, which is like the ultimate homer, like the ultimate hammer. But those odds are going to be like minus 180, I bet.
Yeah. But I mean, who you think is supposed to get the yards? That's who they got the odds.
Right.
there.
And I'm already, I would be over on Cup because he's just going to get the targets. I would actually venture the under on Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But I would probably counter that, bless you, with an over on. I'm gonna
T.
I
Higgins.
venture the over. I want to say over on Tyler Boyd.
I tell you what, all the experts that I saw today, CBS and whatnot, are saying Higgins on the over for 69
I like
and
the
a half.
Higgins over.
Yeah, I think one of the other receivers for the Bengals are going to be the over. I just don't know who. Like somebody's going to eat up those targets because they're going to focus on Jamar Chase. So
interjecting quickly, two other of those Super Bowl specials. Just see your thoughts on it. Jamar Chase plus Cooper Kupp combined for 200 yards. Plus 100.
That's an even odds.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I would probably go under. And again, this is just me being consistent with my Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase could very well have a touchdown, but only have like 40 or 50 receiving yards.
True. I think Cooper Kupp puts up 100 at least, but I don't know that Jamar Chase counters that.
Right.
The other one is, which I think this one is a little out to lunch to take, but fun. Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, and T. Higgins each have 100 yards receiving.
No way.
Plus 1,400 odds.
Yeah, that's where the payoff is.
Let's explain what that is. So if I put $5, how much do I get?
We are not going to speak in $5. We're going to speak in $10.
All right, speaking $10, how much do I get?
140.
So $70 if you put $5 down.
Yeah.
And who are they? Run those players back for us.
Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, and T. Higgins each have to have 100 yards individually. Is it bad that the one there that I don't like is Jamar Chase?
Put it down, Muff. $10.
Whew.
Put it down, Muff.
Put it down, Jim.
Yep. Alex, put it on my thing.
Got it.
Write that down.
Is that allowed to be a best bet? Not
Muff?
a best bet, right? Just for fun.
Muff is allowed to be a best bet.
Muff,
If you really want to take a plus 1,400 odds as a best bet, then have at it, buddy.
Dude, he says do it. I can't. I feel like we can't stop this man.
This
it.
This is the ultimate risky baboon pick.
I think I'm gonna jump on it with him, not as a best bet, but as a risky baboon in solidarity.
Do it. That sounds so good.
It sounds. This has worse odds than most of our Urban Meyer risky picks of the week. Of which, be reminded, we went 4-14 on this year.
I'm sending Muffnack my money now.
This is
Love it.
starting to get silly.
This is starting to get silly.
Why not? You only live once.
He's dad's teetering on putting his foot down.
All right, let's move the defense. Total sacks over under 5. I don't need to do much breakdown for this. That this is definitely the over if you've watched Cincinnati. Basically, if Matt Stafford goes down once, I think we're going to hit the over on this one.
Yes. And this is another one. I don't even know if I should say this one because I don't want to
stop. You need to stop. So, loyal listener Tim, who Muffnack also serves as an intermediary in the realm of the 5th, 6th, 8th, and 12th dimensions, lives on these game day specials. Muffnack gets text messages from Tim every Sunday morning during football season that have screenshots of bets that have typically no less than plus 300 or 400 odds.
I dabble in them regularly as well.
All right.
Okay.
Total interceptions.
Wait,
1.5.
I do have.
I don't
to
want to hear it, Alex. I don't want to lose more money.
Hendrickson, Miller, and Donald have 1 sack each. Go ahead, but I'm not telling you the odds.
What are the odds?
I don't know if I want to tell you. Dad,
Tell me the
know.
odds.
plus 500.
Yeah, those are better odds than your other one.
I'm not doing
Yep.
it. Has Muffnack put my bet in?
No.
Write that down there as a possible, Alex.
Okay.
All right. Total
Okay, Alex.
interceptions.
Good job, Alex. Write that down.
Total
Get the intern
interceptions.
on it. I don't know who my intern is, but that's who does all the work.
Total interceptions 1.5. I think this one over under 1.5. I think this one's kind of. I would lean towards the under because of the half. Muff, what do you think?
Speak to my intern.
I would
Don't be you.
don't be you.
What was the other bet that nobody else put in? Got it.
Alex is
Jim's-
doing it.
I wrote it on my piece of
Sure.
paper right in front of my face. Was I supposed to put it somewhere else?
I don't know, the place where Muffnack actually gets the information, not on a piece of paper at your house.
Oh, grumpy Muffnack.
Grumpy Muffnack does not like these
Muff,
bets.
what do you think of the interception over under 1.5?
Give me the over.
Really?
Yeah.
Who do you see throwing the interceptions? One apiece? Two on Burrow?
Stafford's good for one. Burrow's good for one.
Wow. Alex.
Yeah, I was actually kind of leaning towards Muff, only because I can see each of them throwing one. I can see like Jalen Ramsey with one, and I can see who on the Bengals. I don't know. I see one. I don't think Muff's wrong. I don't like either side enough to bet it for real. But I
Yeah,
don't think
me
Muff
either.
is wrong.
So, longest field goal made during the game over under 47.5 yards. When you have a kicker like Evan McPherson, he's made 950 yards. The most in the league, and his average is a 42-yard attempt. The Rams kicker, he has much shorter attempts. The Cincinnati offense is probably going to be kicking a lot. What do we think? 47.5 over under.
Under.
Over.
I would say over.
I think they get. I think
It
at
has to
least
be a made attempt, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, the Bengals are my worry here.
Okay,
The
that's fair.
stronger kicker not having the opportunity to kick it. That's really what this comes down to.
That's fair.
see. I'm picturing the Bengals being more risky with their kicker because they have a strong kicker in Evan McPherson. Like I'm picturing if they get the ball in the first drive and they get it and it's a 55, 56-yard kick, I think they're going to go out and let them whack it. Because if you start the game with that kind of momentum,
All right.
because they're not going to punt there, and I think they are smart enough to know with the Rams defense going for it in that territory isn't great. I'm thinking over.
Strong points. Strong points. Total field goals made over under 3.5. What do we think?
I don't know.
I don't know. Under.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking under too.
I would say under.
Sean McVay's the one that screws that up.
Yeah.
He'll take a risk somewhere.
Okay. Total punts over under 6.5. LA averages 6.85 punts. Cincinnati's game average 8 punts, including the playoffs. Over under. What do we think?
Let me look at this again.
Over under 6.5 punts for the whole game. And both teams average.
Oh, the games that they play in average, not the teams.
Oh, okay. I was
Like
like,
that- I was like,
I
those-
was on the same train with Muff. I'm like, I got you.
In games which the Rams play, the teams average 6.85. Got it.
Yeah.
I say over then. I mean,
It's not the Rams average, it's the Rams games average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I was confused.
I think I would take the over better, pretty confidently.
Yeah,
I would take the over.
we'll go with the over.
All right, so those are the that's the game props. MVP has their own odds.
Mhm.
Matt Stafford's at plus 120, Burrow's at plus 220, Cooper Cup's at plus 700, Jamar Chase is plus 1200, Odell Beckham's plus 1600, Aaron Donald's at plus 1800. All the others are plus 2500 or higher. Who do we think is going to be the MVP?
Well, I think this is a tale of who do we think is going to win the game, and for that reason, Matt Stafford.
If I was on the Rams, I'd be going Cooper Cup. Just on the odds, I think he's the better investment.
Okay, who's your MVP, Alex?
My MVP,
Yeah,
Joe Burrow.
my MVP is Jamar Chase. Because I think if they win, that means he beat Ramsey, and therefore
Yeah,
he's the MVP.
Eggs in one basket.
That's my because you can't figure that offensive line held out. Anyway, so now
Yeah.
to the more
Jim Mix,
nonsense.
the running backs aren't even in the running here for this.
No. Now to the more nonsense as we wrap this up. The Gatorade math. Going back to 2001, orange, the color orange, Gatorade, was the weapon of choice for the Super Bowl winning teams.
The
Being
weapon.
used 5 times. Followed by clear, which I assume is
Clear
water.
water?
I don't know.
Is this clear and like white Gatorade count, or is white one of the
I
options?
don't.
here?
I don't know,
For
man.
me, like white is like that glacier cherry or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't see anyone on the sideline wanting glacier cherry to cool themselves off.
Right.
Who knows? Yellow was 4 times, blue 3, and purple 2. 4 head coaches have come out bone dry. Yeah, 4 head coaches have come out bone dry without Gatorade in that time frame. The odds are orange plus 200, blue plus 300, green/yellow/lime plus 450, clear plus 450, red/pink plus 800. What color do we think it's going to be? And by the way, it's very hard to find somewhere to bet on this.
Might be an in-game.
So I had to look up while I'm thinking my color because I think clear. I'm thinking water. I had to look up who the coaches were that avoided the Gatorade
Uh-huh.
bath.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
Parcells had to be at least one of them.
No. It was
Okay.
my guess. Originally, I was like, definitely one of them is Bill Belichick. It was Bill
by the
Belichick.
odds.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was thinking just by personality. I didn't even think about odds make sense. But 3 of the 4 were Bill Belichick. I don't know if they're saying 4 come out because what I said Bill Belichick 3 times has avoided the Gatorade bath, and Harbaugh was the other one with the 49ers.
Well, surprise. Can't ruin the khakis.
It's the khakis.
All right. So, Muff, what's your color, buddy?
Oh, let's go with green, yellow, lime.
Alex?
Clear.
Okay, now I'm going to use some logic here. All right. If the Bengals win, it's orange. Right? If the
Right.
Rams win, it's blue.
Is because they choose their Gatorade color based on their
That's
team
what I'm
colors?
thinking.
Just for
No,
Right?
like what if
The
the Rams don't
optics.
even have blue Gatorade on their sideline?
Well, then that's dumb.
When I think of the Gatorade, I think of either orange, yellow, or water.
I'm going with orange.
So, fun fact, you said Parcells. Parcells, I guess, was the first coach to get Gatorade dumped on him.
Huh. And then he said, if you ever do that to me, I'll take your soul.
Well, this is off
Probably.
Yahoo Sports, so I'm just gonna read it.
right.
Give me the source. In 1984, New York Giants linebacker Harry Carson dumped Gatorade on coach Bill Parcells at the end of a win. Legend has it that defensive lineman Jim Burt wanted to get back at Parcells for yelling at him during the week, and Carson did the deed. Somehow that became the way football teams celebrate victories, and of course that led to betting opportunities. And then it goes into a diatribe about their odds.
All right, so halftime bets, which I don't know where you find a place to bet these. As you know, Dr. Dre.
Muff neck can probably.
Okay, get it done, Muffneck. Dr. Dre and crew will be performing. Some of the bets you can bet on: will Eminem's performance be censored? Yes is at -80. No is +135. Will a football be used as a prop? Yes is +300. No is -450. These are where it gets good. Will Snoop Dogg smoke on stage? Yes is +300. No is -450. Will there be a wardrobe malfunction? Yes is +950. No is -300.
Okay.
3,300.
I have. So this is the reason why something like this isn't in a major sports book. Is it's so subjective. What could constitute a wardrobe malfunction? Like somebody's pant leg could ride up on their socks and be like, "Oh my god, that's not what it's supposed to look like. It's a malfunction."
Yeah. So those are the yes nos, and then one that I liked, first song to be played. California Love is at +200. The next episode +375. Family Affair +400. Nothing But a G Thing +700. Lose Yourself +650. Drop It Like It's Hot +750. All the Stars +1,000. Still DRE +550. And Humble +950.
Ooh.
I would say California Love's going to come just rip snorting out of the gate.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think that there's there's like a quick 30 seconds of a song.
Mm-hmm. You think it's going to be a medley?
In California Love, like they get primed for 30 seconds with X, whatever that song may be, and then California Love is what gets it popping. Like they lead into it.
Could Lose Yourself be the beginning of it?
I don't think so. They're going to save M for like the middle when he pops.
Yeah,
on
that's
stage.
true.
Ready? Is it even in here? It's not.
What about Drop It Like It's Hot?
Forgot About Dre for 30 seconds. The intro,
yeah.
Forgot About Dre, leads right into California Love. And then something Eminem specific, like one of his bigger songs. It could be, what's the one from the boxing movie?
Oh, yeah.
Rabbit Run?
No.
Sorry.
This is a betting show. Why are we talking about this? Let's move.
And I don't, here's the thing is, wherever you found this, is this because they have a set list?
Oh,
They don't know, but they don't know the order?
Maybe. That's a good point.
Because none of the things I just said are even in here. So
maybe.
And Kendrick Lamar is there, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if Humble's in there, then
all right, Muff. I want to move on past this halftime thing. It was just supposed to be for shits and giggles. What are you doing?
is Yeezy going to make an appearance?
Oh boy! All right. So
is the Kardashian going to be there?
Muff has graciously allowed me to put some bets in and some not bets in.
No, they can all go in
As my best bets. So my best bets prop wise, I got Joe Mixon running for over 13.5 on his longest run. First offensive play will be a rush. Total sacks over 5 for both teams. I think they will be scoreless in the first 5.5 minutes. And then I'm going with Alex in the Crazy Town bet. I've decided to change it now to the Hendrickson, Miller, Donald, at least 1 sack each.
So you're not going to do
No.
everybody to have 100 yards?
No. I toned it down.
You're very adamant on that. I'm glad.
I'm
glad that you
Alex
rethought that
something.
decision.
Yeah, Alex found something that made more sense.
Yeah. I'm actually glad I said it now. Brought it back.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. And then the one that he won't let me count is I bet tails.
And then when he won't let me count, I bet tails.
Anybody else want to jump on the?
I'm taking Bengals +4 with Jim, and then I'm also going to jump on the Hendrickson Miller Donald with the sack. I liked that one.
Okay.
All right. I have three total.
Uh-oh.
Rams 3.5, under 48.5. Cooper Cup over.
Well, I hope this
Receiving
episode.
yards.
I hope the listener is still with us
Oh, definitely.
as we broke down the Super Bowl.
Oh, we broke a lot about the Super Bowl down.
Will there be a betting episode next week? What are we going to do? What is the future of the betting episodes?
The betting episode will have to the recap of this week's betting episode may have to be encapsulated into the Super Bowl recap.
Will there be a ceremony for the winner of this season? Will there be? How will this work?
I think that happens. I don't know. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
I mean,
on
there's got to be a
Tuesday.
payoff, right? The listener
there-
needs a payoff. They demand it. What do we do with our interns in the off season?
I think they just transfer over to the main show.
Yeah.
All these
I mean,
questions the listener
Help
might
out over
have.
there.
Mac's a weather guy. He can
there's plenty
chat
of-
about golf. He can chat
Yeah,
about NASCAR.
yeah, Jim, don't be sad. I ain't going anywhere. There's plenty of weather to talk about and all the other sports until football season.
Why does Bernard get days off? He's a social media intern.
That's
Don't
true.
don't we live on the internet?
Bernard gets a little sensitive sometimes. We give him some days off every now and then.
Well, there you have it. Muff, take us home.
Well, this is the last betting picks episode of the NFL season. So a little trepidation, a little fear, a little anxiousness, unnervedness going into the off season. But don't be afraid, because we will come back at some point for basketball.
March Madness.
The madness of March. And, you know, I'm sure that we can find some degenerate behavior to do on the circle around the NFL draft.
Yeah.
It's always an option to chat about that. Maybe we'll even have a live show for the NFL draft, because, you know, through Facebook, we can do live shows.
Oh, that's our
Yes.
tech guy Muff.
YouTube.
Muff's intern,
Yeah, Muff's intern.
Murph,
Murph.
handles the YouTube. So, all right. When one of the teams wins the Super Bowl, because we don't have Mike Allstott hits pick of the week or Myers to pick of the week or anything really. We just have best bets. So when somebody makes money, because somebody will, when the coin toss hits heads, and Jim immediately thanks Muffnack for not allowing that bet to be placed. When I don't know. I don't even know. We don't have any like common bets for me to mess with on this. When Dr. Dre and friends have the best halftime show, Mickey Guyton goes over 1 minute 35 seconds, and Tom Cruise makes a guest appearance in the chopper.
And the real Slim Shady does stand up.
What type of night are we gonna have, Alex?
A good night.